Welcome back, everybody, to part 2 of our Forged in the Barrens set review from a wild perspective. We are now transitioning over to the Mage class, and Mike will be kicking it off.
Yes, sir. What's up, everybody? Mage class. Magic Mike in the building. Good morning. Or is it afternoon now? Ooh, it's 11:59 a.m., so we're still in the morning. All right, so we got some Mage in the morning. Loving it. First card we're going to kick off. When I review these Mage cards, looking through the lens of the 2 meta decks and anything that could be off meta. So, first card is a 2-mana arcane spell called Ruin Orb. Deal 2 damage and discover a spell. For me, I gave this card instantly a 3. Low cost. 2 damage goes to face. It doesn't go to minions, which is always key. After, I think, 2015, that's the first thing I look for in reviews, is like if the damage goes face or to a minion. So this instantly gets a boost on that. And you can discover a spell. So there's a chance that you could discover another spell that goes face or something else that could help you lock the game up or close it out. Let me kick this off to Nate. I gave it a 3.
Yeah, I gave it a 4, actually. I feel like it can, it's great in Quest Mage, it's great in Mizaki Mage, it can go face, and the discovery is good. Yeah, seems like a fantastic card to me. Sheep?
Yeah, I was, of course, originally thinking exactly the 2 you mentioned, Mizaki and Quest. Quest tends to be a little bit more minion-centric, so you can run the book draw card. But, maybe a Highlander Quest, which was really strong a few expansions ago. It's so versatile. Like, I obviously can't give it below a 3. It replaces itself. It can go face. It's arcane, which is kind of cool. I don't know that I can quite go 4 because I don't know like any specific meta decks that'll be like actively playing it, but like super strong card. It's a very strong 3 bordering on that 4. How about you, Hydra?
I think I might cross that line into the 4 on this one. It says it's 2 mana, but I think we know that we're going to be playing this for 1 or 0 sometimes, a lot of the time. And you're going to be... and it goes face. We're going to discover another spell. We get to most likely pick something that is also going to cost 0 or 1. If we got those Sorceress Apprentices on board, I give it a 4.
Nice.
All right. I like that review around right there. Good rankings. Very cool card. So this next one, it's going to stir the pot for a lot of people in every corner of this game. 3-mana frost spell. It's a secret called Oasis Ally or Alley. When a friendly minion is attacked, summon a 3/6 water elemental. The same water elemental that you will find in your classic set. 4-mana 3/6 minion. Just how Sheep had worded it for evolution purposes or devolve purposes. I like this card a lot. I'm going to give it a 3. I think it's very cool. Another secret you now got to play around. So it's another wrinkle in the IQ you got to add to know how to play around certain mage secrets. But I'm pretty sure the cream of the crop will know how to time it and figure it out. So I gave it a 3. What about you, Nate?
Yeah, I gave it a 3 as well, and I'll tell you why. I think it is I don't think that it replaces Netherwind Portal. But I think it's a little counterintuitive to me because if there are weapon decks, real aggressive, you've got like Kingsbane Rogue, Odd Rogue, Pirate Warrior. Typically, they're going face, and so in order to proc the secret, it's a friendly minion has to be attacked, and so like okay, there's some level of board control that's going to have to happen, but like in a Smork deck, like you're ignoring those sometimes. And so that being said, a water elemental is really difficult to deal with. And I think, I'd rather have a water elemental than whatever random garbage I'm going to get from Netherwind Portal. Like, I know people will fight me on that opinion, but like if I got a water elemental from Netherwind Portal, I'd be super happy because the stats are good. The freeze is good.
Yeah.
So I will be experimenting with this in Secret Mage. It feels pretty strong to me. The tricky part is like how to proc it. So that's what stopped me from scoring it higher. But I like it. I definitely like it. Sheep, what do you think?
So if this procced in the same way that Netherwind Portal procced,
Oh, it'd be
this would be
busted.
an easy like 4-5. Yeah, absolutely. I just it seems like it's way too easy to play around if it's like actively being played. For your Kingsbane rogue, your odd rogue, those kinds of things. I'm gonna go hot take, and for wild, I'm gonna give this a 1. Like I think that you're never like sad to like discover this, but like, am I gonna run this in my secret mage? I don't know that I am. In all actuality, it's probably like a 2 or 3, but like I'm gonna go hot take. Like I'm gonna say we're not gonna play this in secret mage, and I'm gonna give it a 1. It's probably a 2 or 3. Don't get me wrong.
Hot takes are welcome.
Hot take 1.
Hot takes are definitely welcome. I love it. I am gonna go with the 3 though on this one because I know like we're wondering how you're gonna have it procced. You put a flak mage on the board. That's how it's gonna be procced because everybody kills the flak mage. Aggro can't have that flak mage on board. They're gonna kill that thing. So because you're just gonna keep clearing their minions, right? So they're gonna want to force the trade to get, and we'll get this out. And then not only do we get a 3/6 out of it every single time, we get to freeze their face. And if they're a weapon deck, freezing their face over and over again, we've now locked them out of the game at that point. So I'm going to give this a 3.
All right.
Excellent. All right. So our next mage card, it is a common spell. One of my newer favorites. It is called Refreshing Springwater. 4-mana mage spell. Draw 2 cards. Refresh 2 mana crystals for each spell drawn. Now, when I look at the current meta mage decks, looking at Secret Mage, I don't think Secret Mage wants to stray away from what they're doing. There's a bunch of minions in there. I'm looking at Temple Storm just to give reference for everyone listening and watching. And then the other mage deck is Quest Mage, more minions. So this shifts over to my favorite mage deck, which is Mizaki. And when I read this card, it makes me feel like I'm playing Arcane Intellect. So I have no problem trading off 1 extra mana for the chance, which is a great chance in my list, to draw 2 spells, which will instantly refresh my crystals, or the 2 crystals, you know what I'm saying? So for me, this card is a 4. What do you say, Nate?
I gave this card a 5, dude. This is the only card.
God damn.
This is the only card in the entire set that I think like this is gonna get nerfed or something, because now it's got to be played in the right deck. I agree with you 100%, Mike, because otherwise it's gonna be a 4-mana draw 2. But like you put this in Mizaki Mage, this is pure fire. Like draw 2, refresh 2. And so it's like drawing cards is good, cheating mana is good. Like realistically, it's probably a 4 in my book. But like I'm in looking at this, people are gonna be hating on this card to high heaven, and I like, dude, I don't know. Like this is my like this will get nerfed in a few months card. So we'll see. That's my hot take of the day. Sheep, what do you think? 1.
I think if this gets nerfed, it'll be because of standard, right? Like, so I can easily see that happening because Mizaki Mage is strong in standard right now, even if it only sees fringe play. I think this is a strong card. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I don't know that it's going to be like a move Mizaki into a more meta position than it is now, but Mizaki Mage will get another tool. That's an awesome thing. The only minions that you'll probably be playing there, you probably aren't playing Lab Recruiter anymore, right? Like you're going to make this much more spell focused. It's not a bad thing. I gotta go probably 3, like, because I think it's an all-around strong card. I think it's great being able to like get card draw, free card draw, particularly in Mizaki. Like you love to see it. I don't know that it's going to make it more meta than it already is. I think it's strong. 3, like it's a really strong 3. Really strong 3, bordering on 4. What do you think, Hydra?
I just want to say this with Incanter's Flow, like, dude.
Yeah.
So, all right, I'm sorry, Hydra, go for it.
I think this is a very strong card. I think my only problem with it is our rating system goes by whether this is like kind of like a broken card or it's playable in meta decks or just playable or fringe play. So I don't see this as playable in one of the big Mage meta decks that we have. So I can't call it a 5 and I can't call it a 4. While I still think it's very strong, so it's not a 1 or a 2. So it's going to land right in the middle as a 3 for me, even though it is a very powerful card. Maybe it'll make Mizaki more of a meta deck, but it currently is not one of those main meta decks. So 3.
All right. So next up, hey, don't shoot the messenger. Just kidding. This card's not that great. 0 mana frost spell. It's a rank spell. Real quick, sidestep from the inside joke of the artwork comments. I do like the idea of the rank art, like how they evolve. Really cool. Shout out to Blizzard for that. Really cool.
Yeah.
0 mana flurry. Freeze a random enemy minion. Upgrades when you have 5 mana. And the upgrade is to freeze 2 random enemy minions. And then at 10 mana, it upgrades into freezing 3 random enemy minions. So for me, I don't see myself taking this and putting it in my deck. So I'll give it like a 1. But I have to be honest and say that when I cycle through whatever, Mana Cyclone or Mizaki deck or Primordial Glyphs, if I discover this, I will be very, very happy. So initially I give it a 1, but I like the effect. I like the idea of it. Nate, what do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm first off, let me say I love what they did with the art. Like we saw this starting in Scholomance where they're getting our hero cards or our mercenaries in this case and putting them more and more in the card art throughout the set. And I think that from a flavor perspective is just super cool. And we see that more in this set than ever. I think in Scholomance they were in like 2 cards, and here they're in a whole mess of cards, which is awesome. When I look at this, I never run Frost Nova, right? Unless I'm playing Freeze Mage, but 0 mana spells are really good. And so I'm struggling with how to play this and like when is the appropriate time to play this. Initially, I gave it a 3 because I was like, do I put this in Mizaki? Do I put this in, I don't know. Like it buys me a turn maybe, and 0 mana is good. But I struggle to find like, okay, would I intentionally put this in a deck? Me personally, probably not. If I discover this, like, oh boy, it's on. And so I think I will settle with the 2 on this, but I was really leaning hard towards a 3. We all know 0 mana stuff gets broken real easy. So I don't know. I think I will be eating my words on this one later. Someone prove me wrong, but Sheep, what do you think?
So I go back and forth on like 4 and 1.
I mean, I'm glad I'm not alone at least.
Yeah. Flurry can be crazy strong, particularly with Varden, Dawngrass, Blader. Maybe that's why they're in the actual card art itself, right? And it's 0 mana. Like that's going to be strong with Gadgets and Auctioneer. That's going to be strong in, like Mike was saying, Mizaki. But are we ever like playing this just like actively in our deck? And I don't know that we are. Like I can see us running Varden in a deck because of the like snowball potential, Frost. But like right. But are we ever gonna play Flurry itself in our deck? And I don't know that we are, because it only really like gets worth it when you have 5 mana or more. And by that point we might just be dead. So like I go back and forth between 4 and 1. I think I'm going to go with 2 because I think it's playable, but kind of more just on the fringe. It's such a strong card, though, that I want to go 3, but I'm going to go 2 because I don't think that we're going to see it a whole lot, and I will probably be wrong. But the Flurry is a really hard card to rate.
Yeah.
So 2 for me. What do you think, Hydra?
Well, I'll do it for you. I'm going to go with the 3. I can't quite go up to the 4, but I mean, we pay 1 mana for Ray of Frost to free something. I'm okay with paying 0 mana to free something. I mean, it's it's 0 mana, right? And Ray of Frost drives me absolutely insane. Like, absolutely insane when you're playing against it. And I can't see going forward me not getting angry when somebody 0 mana freezes my stuff. So it's not exactly targeted. It does say random, correct?
Yep.
So that's not the best, but it's 0 mana. It's gonna stall. You can constantly just keep. You have a Luna. You can generate stuff. I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna get mad at this card, so it's 3.
I feel like you're right that we'll get mad at it when it's generated from something. I don't think we're running it in our deck, though.
Could be that you could be right there. Well, I guess time will tell. What do we got next?
All right, so as I transition into the next card, the ending of your conversation there just made me think of Wand Thief playing against Rogue. So anyway, all right, the next card, 3 mana minion, 3/4 called Rhyme Tongue. After you cast a frost spell, just like our last card, Flurry, summon a 1/1 elemental that freezes. 1 mana, 1/1 elemental, little frosted elemental guy, little frosted snowflake here. So if they had a format where like you couldn't attack until after turn 5, I think that's where I want to play this. Like, but I give it a 1. Nate?
Yeah, I gave it a 1 too. I mean, it's an interesting card, but I think having the requirement that it has to be a frost spell, not like any spell, and it just like I struggle with where to put this in a wild deck, and I just don't see it personally. I give it a 1 as well.
Yeah, it's a 1 for me too. Though I will say, Frosted Elemental, that little dude, super duper cute. If Hog, this or the Hog token that is in the like Hog Rancher or whatever that we'll talk about in neutral, close contention for the cutest card in the set. But yeah, it's a 1 for me. What do you think, Hydra?
I haven't seen the golden animation, but I want to see if at the bottom of the little frost elemental, if he's got a little whirlwind that's actually like spinning around. I think that'd be really cool.
Oh, I bet it does.
I bet it does, but we're talking about the art. A 1. I'm good. Just a 1. What's up next, Mike?
All right, so next up, let's see. This is a card where, all right, there are some decks where I like to see other people make it, and then from that point, I like to take it and mess with it. A la Sheep's Mech Paladin last summer. This minion right here is exactly what I'm talking about. 4 mana, 3/5. It's called Reckless Apprentice. The battle cry is fire your hero power at all enemies, minions and hero included. I gave this a 3. I'm gonna make mine short to give you guys more time so I can steal your ideas. Go.
Yeah, okay. I gave this a 2. I think that it's very interesting, right? I'm not quite sure where it goes, and that's why I'm like kind of with Mike. I'm not sure where this fits in wild. Like, okay, could I put this in even mage? Like, yeah. Or wait a minute. Are we playing even mage? No. The effect is super cool. It goes face. That's super cool. There's a card that upgrades my hero power to do more damage. That's super cool. But like, do I combine all of these into the perfect like storm and put this in my deck? Sheep is nodding emphatically, but like, I want to try it. Okay, I want to try it, and it seems very fun. Do I think that I'm going to win games with it? Like, probably not. But dude, it looks really fun. I'll give it a 2 as fringe. And please, like, hey, if someone breaks this or makes it cool, like, hey, by all means. I mean, I remember a couple months back, Reno Jackson's hitting legend with Odd Mage. Like, dude, that's cool. We can try it. I think that it's actually going to be like competitive in the way that Secret Mage or Mizaki Mage are. Like, no, sorry. So I mean, I love the flavor of it is cool, and I love it when they're doing new mechanics. This will see a lot of play in standard, I think, with their like upgraded hero power mage. Sheep, what do you think?
So my biggest question about this and the next card that we're going to cover is if the upgrades to the hero power, with Wildfire in particular, cross over to Frostlich Jaina. Because if they do, that deck is going to be like just amazing. OP, no, it'll probably still be like tier 3, but it'll crack the actual tier list. So if the Wildfire buff hits Frostlich, like continues on to Frostlich Jaina, then this is 4, like straight up 4. If not, this is, it'll be fun. It'll be a 2.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say that it does, because I think that it will, and I'm going to go 4. If it doesn't, then it's 2, and it'll be fun and fringe, but I'm going 4 for this one. What do you think, Hydra?
Wow. Sheep at the hot takes today. I can't see why this wouldn't work with Frostlich Jaina. It says fire your hero power at all enemies. But with the Wildfire, yeah, I don't know if that will, but it probably will. I'm still gonna give it a 2 though, under our definition of fringe playable, because I don't know if we're gonna venture away from what Mage is doing right now. So 2.
Interesting take on the Frostlich Jaina. I'll try to find out.
So, I have a question.
Yeah.
So, Sheep, you're saying if we set up this scenario where we are already Jaina, or the Frostlich, and then we play Daring Fire Eater, including the Wildfires, and then you play this Apprentice, so you could deal like 6-7 damage to all enemies and summon a bunch of stuff?
And then we can also ping after that too. Yeah.
Okay, I see what you're saying. All right, I should change my rating, but I feel you. Okay.
So the question that I have is really in regards to the card that we're about to do, and that's if we play Wildfire on 2, obviously then our hero power becomes deal 2 damage. But if Frostlich Jaina then retains that hero power buff, that's the big question. And I should have tagged Celestial on whenever I was looking at that before, but I didn't think about it.
I could see it not sticking.
I can see it not sticking too, but I'm going with hot takes and that it sticks.
Okay. All right. So speaking of Wildfire, here the card is. I bet this card Golden is beautiful. I bet it's even more beautiful in Diamond. But anyway, I'm getting too far off track. 2 mana epic mage spell. Increase the damage of your hero power by 1. So you do not want to discover this as Shaman or Warrior. I'm going to give this card a 3. I think it's very cool, very unique, and I'm willing to say this is a 3. Maybe because I like Mage, so it's all good. I'm a little biased. Whatever. Pass it off to Nate.
Yeah, I gave it a 2. I wanted to give it a 3, and I hope that it's more powerful. My opinion of this sort of changes depending on whether this works with Frostlich Jaina or not. I do like that this is a permanent upgrade. I bet you anything I'm really curious on the interaction, right? You play this as regular Mage, and now your power does 2. Then you play Frostlich Jaina. I bet you anything you reset to 1. But what happens if you turn into Frostlich Jaina and then you play this card? Does it work? I don't know. I like the
I want to know.
I like the idea of it quite a bit, and so I guess we'll see. I'm like cautiously optimistic, but I like that it's a permanent effect. We see this in Demon Hunter a lot, that it's like for the next 2 turns. Like, no, dude, this is forever. And so that being said, the reason that I scored a 2 instead of 3 is because you're taking a tempo loss when you play this card. So this is a turn where you're spending 2 mana to essentially not advance your board state. Granted, you have this advantage for the rest of the game, but like you're going to take a tempo loss that turn, and does it make up for it later? I don't know. Uh, we'll see. What do you think, Sheep?
So if like Shmoopy is saying that it works post Jaina, which I think it does, absolutely it does. But if the hero power does reset whenever you play Jaina, this is a solid 3. But if the hero power doesn't reset when you play Jaina and it's already upgraded, then again, this is like a 4 or maybe even a 5.
Yeah, dude.
I'm gonna go 4. I'm gonna go 4 because I'm assuming that whenever you play Wildfire on 2, if you play Frostlich Jaina on 9, your hero power does 2 already. Kind of like Raza works. We don't know that for sure, so I can't quite go 5, but I'm gonna go this. This solidifies like that odd mage archetype without having the odd restrictions with Reckless Apprentice and Wildfire, and these are the reasons why. If it doesn't work like I think it does, and it's probably still a 3 because you can still just play it, but it's a solid card. Solid card. What do you think, Hydra?
I'm going to give this a 3 because I believe it is a playable card. I believe that we're worried about tempo loss, but if we're playing a more control-y deck anyway, you can probably afford to spend 2 mana on upgrading your hero power when a lot of the time if I'm playing a control-y deck, I don't want to use a board wipe when they only have 1 or 2 things up anyways. So, you try to bait them into building a bigger board. I'm not going to clear something that's just tiny. So you could play this. I feel like you would be able to squeeze this in. I don't think that's big of a deal in a control deck. I think it's playable. It's a 3.
Yeah, I'd like to upgrade my score on this one to a 3, actually. I could see...
One of us.
Well, right. No. But check this out. If you... Right, the thing is... You can play 2 copies of this in your deck, right? And so at some point you're doing 2 mana hero power for 3 damage, and then if you're able to do that with Frostlich Jaina as well, hero power for 3 that freezes and is building water elementals, dude, okay, one damage with Frostlich Jaina was pretty good. Nobody's really playing that deck right now, but we did for a while. But if I'm talking 3 damage, dude, wow, okay, that's we're in a different ball game now. So,
and then you daring Fire Eater into Reckless Apprentice, and you're doing 5 AOE that makes a ton of water Ellies, and just
Oh, people are gonna rage quit over that. Yeah.
Yeah, I like the direction that we're going. At first, when I saw Wildfire, I was just like, but the more you think about it, hey, I can't wait for one of the devs to confirm that Wildfire will stick if you play it before Frostlich.
Yeah.
So let's get to our next card here. This one's spicy. I like it a lot. 3 mana elemental, 4 attack, 3 health. It's an epic card, so you want to open this. Hopefully you don't have to craft it. Cards that didn't start in your deck cost 2 less, but not less than 1. Thank goodness for the second half of this ability. Because if it just cost 2 less, oh man, it would have been insane. I give this card a 3 based on the wording of our rankings. It's not meta decks or meta defining, but I think it's a very, very, very good card. So capital, gigantic, bolded 3, however I need to emphasize that. I like this card a lot. A lot of applications here. Nate, what do you think?
Yeah, same. I gave it a 3. It feels playable in Quest Mage. It feels like a worse Sorcerer's Apprentice to me because Sorcerers can bring it down to 0. And this one, they sort of think they realize that issue, we'll cap it at 1. But, still, cool. Now I can run 4 Sorcerer's Apprentices in one deck instead of 2, right? And, okay, do I put this in Quest Mage? That's where I see it. Could it go in some kind of elemental build? I guess if we're playing that. I don't know. I'm skeptical a little bit, but mana cheat is good. And so that's where I see kind of the niche for this, solid playable card to me. What do you think, Sheep?
It's aggressively statted. It's an elemental. It has a strong effect that doesn't really synergize with the way that I kind of want to be playing it. Because if I'm playing Quest Mage, then I want to be playing minions that either draw spells or generate spells. I'm not really too worried about discounting them because I've got like, Sorcerer's Apprentice that is a persistent effect. I've got Encanter's Flow. I really like the idea of this card. But I think I'm gonna go with the 1. I don't see what we're gonna play it in. I mean, in reality, it's probably a 2. But hot take. I'm gonna go 1. What do you think, Hydra?
I'm gonna go with the 2 on this. I think we're gonna try it and realize that it's not something that we need to be running. I think maybe it will make some lists, hence Fringe playable 2.
Cool.
Yeah, I think that's
All
probably
right.
accurate.
Oops. Yeah, I'm excited to see how these cards turn out. Next up, Legendary, Varden, Dawngrass. 4 mana, 3/3. Battle Cry, freeze all enemy minions. If any are already frozen, deal 4 damage to them instead. So when I saw this card, I opened up Hearthstone, and I looked at my Mizaki deck, and then I copied the code. I went to playhearthstone.com, and I started to build a deck. And then I just took out my Frost Nova, and I put this card in. So I gave it a 4. What do you say, Nate?
I gave it a 3. I mean, it's basically Frost Nova on a stick, right? It seems good. I'm not quite sure of the full utility yet. And so I struggle a little bit with how to use it, but it doesn't seem bad to me. I will say, history in the making with this card. This is the first non-binary character in the world of Hearthstone, and so there's some groundbreaking.
Hey,
It's super cool inclusivity and all that. So
representation.
Varden Dawngrass is represented as like a they them, and so that's really cool. In terms of the card itself, like it seems strong to me, but I struggle with where to play it because it doesn't fit into existing meta decks. Like, could you play it in Mizaki? Like, sure. What I like about it is it draws you a turn. I'm not really using it with the idea in mind of like dealing the 4 damage. I would be playing with it in terms of like, hey, I drop this, it freezes the entire board and it buys me a turn. So like it's, this slots very cleanly into Mizaki for sure. Like, hey, they've got, they're playing Dark Lair or whatever, and like that Lotheb comes down and you can't do anything, and that's when you lose. Like, oh dude, I don't care about that. I'll play this instead, and I'm not worried about the mana cost. Like, and so it seems very strong. I don't know. I'm not comfortable like giving it a 4 because I'm not quite sure, but like I don't see any real downside. I just kind of struggle with like, okay, it buys me a turn. I mean, honestly, I probably will stick it in any Reno Mage deck because it seems strong, like just overall utility. I see it going in Mizaki, absolutely, and I'm not quite sure where else, but I like it. So yeah, solid 3 for me. What do you think, Sheep?
So this is a day 1 golden craft for me for standard. For standard. Because I'm going to play this in standard all day, every day. These rankings are for wild. You're never going to feel bad playing Varden. Like, they're awesome. But, like, are they going to be, like, meta-defining? Not so much, definitely not a 5. Are they going to be played in, some, like, Mizaki Mage, Highlander Mage? Absolutely. Are those going to be like meta decks? Yeah, probably. So I'll go 4. Solid, amazing card. In standard, going to be like straight up, not quite broken because like there aren't as many freeze effects, but there aren't as many freeze effects. Varden is a freeze effect. I think this is a solid, amazing card. Not quite meta-defining, but like awesome. What do you think, Hydra?
Well, it's Frostova on a stick. It, as Schmoopy points out in chat, it dodges Lotheb.
Yeah.
You could still freeze the board if they've Lothebbed. It's an all-around good card. For some reason, like, I want to say that we're not going to play it. So I'm going to drop to 2. Because I feel like we're going to try it. I think it's going to seem neat, but I feel like it will fade away. That's my hot take. 2.
Yeah, like it. All right.
All right. Last Mage Legendary here. Big boy. Big one here. 10 mana, 10 attack, 10 health. Called Mordresh Fire Eye. Battle Cry. If you've dealt 10 damage with your hero power this game, not last game, deal 10 damage to all enemies. So, yeah. This right here, my gut tells me this in Luna Pocket Galaxy, and then be really cool. You play Brand, and you just blow them up, and it's gonna be really awesome. And everyone in chat's gonna be like, "Good job, Mike." But what's actually gonna happen, I'm gonna draw it for 10, and then draw Luna after. So that stinks. But based on that dream, I'm gonna give this card a 3. Go ahead, Nate.
I gave it a 3 as well. I feel like cautiously optimistic with it as a 3, but like. So where I really see this is going into like a Reno Mage or Luna Pocket Galaxy Mage, because if you're playing a Reno deck or like a longer game, are you going to do 10 damage with your hero power over the course of a game? Yeah, probably. And if we're playing it with Wildfire and we're getting even more damage from our hero power, like, yeah. Now, I saw people comparing this to Jan'alai and saying, well, that wasn't good enough, so why is this good enough? Like, okay, but this has like potential. Where this kind of sealed the deal for me is that it can go face. It's Pyroblast on a stick, right? And I don't, does it feel bad to draw on turn 1? Like, yeah, okay, but if this didn't go face, like, this is a board clear and goes face, like, this is a win condition in some regards to me. And so I don't feel like it's going to be broken. I don't feel like it's going to be meta defining, but it's a solid card. So I think it's a 3 for me. Sheep, what do you think?
So this is one of the payoffs for Hero Power Mage in Wild, right? Like, we're definitely running Jan'alai. We're definitely running Frostlich Jaina. Are we going to run Mordresh as well? All of a sudden, that's 3 payoff cards that are 7 cost or higher. That's a lot. But this does AoE to the board. This does 10 damage to face. If Mordresh was an elemental, then, like, sign me up. This is, that all of a sudden is a tier 1 deck. Like, this would be a 5. Mordresh isn't an elemental. Still strong. AoE damage. We gotta last till 5, till turn 10. I struggle between a 3 and a 4. I think I'm gonna go hot take and give it a 4, but like it's probably more of a 3 in actuality. What do you think, Hydra?
Well, sorry, let me chime in just real quick and say that I'm predicting right now, not having seen it, that this dude has like the freshest entrance animation in this whole set.
Yeah, he does.
Like,
Oh,
have you seen it?
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
my god, I bet it's like rivals ETC. It's probably
It's really cool.
all right. Cool. All right, I'll look at it after this. Hydra, sorry, go carry on.
Well, I'm gonna be on the opposite of that. I'm gonna give this a 2. I think that it's very expensive. Unless you're somehow cheating this out early, like, and I don't even know how you're necessarily doing that. You have to squeeze in all this hero power damage. I think that you're going to want to, instead of maybe playing on curve like you want, you're going to be trying to squeeze in hero powers when maybe you shouldn't be, when just to get this payoff. So to me, what's better, playing on curve or playing off curve so that you can do this later when you could just play on curve and win earlier. So I feel like you're really hoping that this works later on, and you're building around just to make it work, when I rather just win the game in a more straightforward way. So I'm going to give it a 2.
Yeah, I think with cards like Reckless Apprentice, you're not so much going to have to weave those in as much as you used to, because those count towards your Jan'alai and your Mordresh, right? So like if your opponent has 7 minions on board and you haven't upgraded your hero power at all, you've just done 8 damage with the Reckless Apprentice.
This is true.
So you don't have to weave them in quite as much as you used to have to, which I think Reckless Apprentice is what's going to make that archetype really work, because you're not going to have to try as hard. You're not going to have to weave those in quite as much.
Yeah. Still going to stick with the 2, though, because I totally call this fringe playable.
Love it.
All right. So far, we've covered Demon Hunter, and Druid, and now Mage. So, next class up we have is Paladin.